On TikTok, you're going to see a lot more than just prophetic words and devotions from God. You're going to see funny stories and DIYs and crazy things, but come follow me there too. It's the same name, The Real Carla Charity. I would love if you guys would come with me. I miss you. Now, I'm going to introduce a series I'm starting on the Real Carla Charity channel called Conversations. And my very first guest on Conversations is my dear, wonderful friend, Lindsey RexAnne. And Lindsey, say hi.
Hello.
I'm so glad you come. And why don't you first tell people about your channel and what you have over there on yours?
Well, my channel is Lindsey RexAnne, and I just, I mainly do like prophetic words, but sometimes I have people on. The channel name is Lindsey RexAnne. So
please go follow her over there. She has great content. She's got several years of content. You could just catch up and entertain yourself going through all her videos. Lindsey and I have been friends for probably close to 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah.
That blows my mind. My mind. We're friends with Shelly L. If you've ever been to any of her prophetic words and her channel, we're really good friends with Shelly. Shelly created a group on Facebook that we're in, and it's just a group of like-minded, misfit, weirdo Christians who are following God's call for their life and waiting on promises that He is promising so many of us. And I've just been beyond blessed by those friendships, and Lindsey is top 3 for me. So, well, you are. Though I feel bad saying that because I feel like that'll knock somebody else out of the top 3. And I'm like, wait a minute, maybe I should have said top 5, top 10. I don't want to make anyone feel left out because there are so many precious Holy Spirit led people there that have become our family.
Yes, that group has been a godsend.
He has used all these things to confirm and encourage us in this kind of wilderness that we've been in. And not only has He spoken in so many beautiful ways, but He has provided us to journey alongside each other, people from all over the United States and all over the world. Mm-hmm. And so, again, Lindsey has been one of my top supporter, best friend people. Very much so. I'm so not good with this, but yes, very much so. And I just adore her. And so I wanted her to be my first guest on my channel, on my new channel for the series called Conversations, because I think it will be fun. It'll be something. What I would like to do is ask everyone when they come on my channel, ask them the same questions. But as you know, the answers are going to be so diverse and different, but I believe we'll find some common things as well. But the first thing I want to ask Lindsey is, what were you like as a kid, Lindsey? Because I don't even know if I've ever asked you that, a kid or a teenager, but the kid part would be interesting, I think.
Well, you are in luck because I just so happen to have a picture of myself as a child. I do. I actually have a couple of pictures of myself.
Oh, this is great.
I've got to show you this one because this just really kind of captures the essence of Lindsey as a kid. So
the essence of Lindsey.
I was very outgoing. I've always been very outgoing, and people always said I was weird. And
no way.
No, yeah, they did.
I was just gonna pass out.
Right? From that, yeah. I'm like, what? But no,
okay.
I used to take it as an insult, but then it got to a point where I started taking it as a compliment. And
yes.
But this is. Hey, hang on.
Okay, I gotta get close now.
Can you see it?
Hold it real close. I'm gonna be bossy and say, get it right up in there.
All right.
Hold it up a little higher.
Okay.
And there's a light on it, but we can see pretty good. Oh, did you have curly hair?
I did.
No way! You didn't tell me that.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
We would have been frizzy-headed friends for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, like, totally.
I I liked attention, and I like to have the spotlight.
Looks better and sounds better. It's great.
That's good.
Yay! I hope you're comfortable with the phone because this is working great now. Finish telling us about when you were a kid. You were talking about how you were called weird, and at first it bothered you, but then you kind of decided you would accept and embrace it.
Oh, yeah. I did, and I was always seeking approval from people, and I was a huge people pleaser. I mean, I can say that now looking back at it, but I always liked the spotlight. I always liked, if somebody had a camera out, I would always be like, you know, trying to get people to take pictures or videos or whatever. I remember it used to annoy one of my aunts like hugely, and I don't know. I just liked being in front of the camera for some reason. It was weird, but
you like to entertain. So did you kind of like to entertain? Did you like for people to laugh at you?
Oh yeah, I've always loved to entertain people.
I do. I love for people to laugh at me, so I thought maybe that might have been part of you being kind of did they call it being a ham when you were little? They'd say, oh, she's such a little ham, or is that a Southern thing?
It must be a Southern thing.
Because I thought it was insulting when I was little. I was like, are you calling me fat because you're saying I'm being a little ham? And it's apparently it's a Southern phrase that means you like to be in front of the camera and you like to get attention. You're being a ham.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently. Let me know, anyone who's watching, if that's something they say where you live. And if it is, then tell me where you live, because I want to know if it is just like a Southern thing. Carry on.
No, I was always like, I felt that way, and I always wanted to entertain people. I was always very animated, and I always liked to have an audience. I mean, even with like my grandparents and stuff, and when we would get together for like, you know, family functions, or when my grandparents would invite everybody over for like a hot dog roast or something, or when we would go down to the lake, it was always, I don't know, I just liked, I was always an extrovert. But yeah, I really struggled with, like I said, seeking the approval of people, and being a people pleaser. I was just, yeah. I don't know. I was just, it's hard. Man, I don't know. I was a weird kid. I don't know.
What did you want to be? Like when you were little, when you talked about when I grow up, I'm going to, what did you fill in the blank with that on? Because I had things on there for myself, and I'm just curious.
Well, when I was really, when I was really young, when I was probably about, I don't know, 12 or 13, I thought I wanted to be a model. But then when I got a little bit older and found out that I was good at acting, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to.
Oh, I could see that.
Yeah.
And that kind of matches your wanting to entertain and be in front of the camera too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That really
does. I mean, it certainly does. I mean, like, I'm glad now looking back, you know, just kind of with everything, you know, both you and I are, you know, pretty big on researching stuff and not just believing the narrative and going and, you know, we know the seedy underbelly of all the industries. And so it's a good thing I didn't get.
Possibly before, are you saying like before you come to Christ, it's better that you didn't before then?
Yeah, well, I'm saying that, and just some of the things that, you know, just
that can happen to child actresses. Is that where you're going?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of like, even though you had the qualities and the characteristics and the desire for that, God didn't allow you to get in a position that you weren't ready for or that you weren't going to be safe in. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go somewhere with that in a little bit. So I'm going to stick a pin in that one. I'm asking these questions for a reason. So I also want to know, next question is, if you want to tell me how you came to Christ. Now, you can include as much of the pre-coming to God and the post as you want to, or you can shorten or lengthen any part of that. You share whatever you want to share and what you feel is relevant about your testimony of you coming to Christ.
Well, I will tell you, I'm just going to be honest here.
You can be honest if you're comfortable with, because I'm all about that.
Well, see, like I said, I was always an entertainer, and I went through a really wild phase. And like I said, I was always seeking approval. And I mean, I was a girl with daddy issues. And so
Me too.
I moved to Denver, Colorado, just to get away from my parents at the time. I wanted freedom. I wanted to go do what I wanted to do. And a friend of mine that I had made out there, I actually, this is crazy. This story is crazy. I should write a book, but I ended up leaving with a magazine crew. They used to have these like people that would go around and sell magazines house to house. Yeah. And there was these like, young, like people, they were probably anywhere from the ages of like 18, 19 on up. And there was a van full of them that had come through the town that I was living at. And they were trying to recruit people. And so they were like, do you want to come and sell magazines? And I was like, why not? I didn't feel like I was really getting anywhere. And I was pretty impulsive at the time. I didn't really think things through. So I just did. And I had a lot of, at that time, I had a lot of frustration with the way things were going in my family. And so I went. And I ended up going to, like I said, Denver, and a friend of mine that I made while I was out there convinced me that I should be a stripper because I had a good body, and I'd never considered that before. And I thought, well, why not, And I lied to myself when I was first doing that, when I was dancing, because it seemed glamorous. It seemed, I was finally getting to entertain. I was finally getting to, but I was drawing the wrong attention, and I was, it wasn't glamorous, it was degrading. And but I didn't see that at the time. And it was like, of course, I ended up I'm going to fast forward a little bit. I went to so I had gone from, I was in Colorado. I basically ended up back in Kansas. I'm really fast forwarding through, a lot, but I came back to Kansas, and I found myself, because I'd done it before and I thought that I, was pretty good at it or whatever. I ended up dancing at another club here in Great Bend, Kansas. And I did a line of Coke one night, and it made me puke. And that was my first clue that I was pregnant. And so I was like, okay, so either I am going to move back in with my parents at the time, or I could move to this Mary Elizabeth maternity home in Hays, Kansas. And I did. I moved into the home there. It was very structured, lots of rules, lots of, it was basically a home for unwed mothers. And it had been originally founded by some nuns. And there was a lady there that, I call her a lady, but she was my age, and or maybe like a year older than me, but I really looked up to her. She was the case manager of the home. and her name was Cassie. Well, Cassie ended up leading me to the Lord because of just the way she was, just the way she, she didn't. There were so many times I was trying to get like a reaction from her, because I always had, that's what I'd gotten from people who called themselves Christians. I'd gotten this, negative reaction from them, just this judgmental negative. And I was trying to get that from her, but she didn't do that. She gave me, she would be like, she told me that God could take anything bad that I had done and turn it around for good. And I don't know, it was just like the Lord was with her and the time was right. And I named my daughter after my firstborn, my oldest.
I have chills. I have chills.
So, yeah. And then, so that's when I first came to the Lord. That was in 2002. And then in 2003, I had like a huge encounter with Jesus where he made himself like undeniably real to me. Like I had this like vision / dream where he appeared, and it was just like, wow, God, you are definitely real. And it was awesome. And then, so I have like really, I've been a believer for over 20 years, but I haven't been somebody that I feel like really knew God's heart, but within the last 4. When because I backslid, I was in a place of trying to be legalistic and trying to jump through all the right hoops, and because I felt like I needed God's approval. And because I had daddy issues, and I still hadn't gotten those healed yet. Mm-hmm. And so I thought that my Father in heaven didn't accept me. I thought he was disappointed with me. I thought that I had to do everything just right in order for him to be, okay with me. And I didn't realize that was not God's heart at all. Like I said, God has been just working stuff out of me within even just the past, 3 or 4 years, just really showing me his love and really showing me like, how to overcome some of the things that I've always struggled with, that I never realized, that I struggled with, like, just being in that mindset of, oh, I'm a victim and my life is so hard and everything is, nothing ever goes my way type of thing. It's, you've got to begin to really count your blessings and change, just change your mind. I mean, that's what repentance is. It's changing your mindset.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. You don't have to stop if you've got more. I'm not cutting you off at all.
Oh, well, that's really sweet of you. No, I just like, I think what brought me really to the Lord was just, oh my gosh, just seeing that girl, Cassie, and how she interacted with me. And then, and what kept me going with God was how real he made himself to me. And I mean, I backslid. I went the other way. I never like gave up on God or decided that I was, done with God. That I because I knew in my heart, when God makes himself real to you, there's no going back.
Yeah. You
can't just be like one day convince yourself, oh no, I must have imagined. No, I knew. Like the experience that I had with Jesus was it was more real than anything in this earth. I can't even, every fiber of your being comes to life, like in the presence of God. I mean, and that was more like, we feel the Holy Spirit and it's like, oh, wow, I wish I could feel this way all the time. Yeah. But it was like, take that and times it by like 1,000. And it was like, it was just, I can't even put it into words. It was the best thing I'd ever experienced. And that happened when my daughter, Cassie, was just an infant. And it's something I will never forget. I'm now looking back on it, I understand why God did that now. One of the reasons I think that he did that was because, God knows that one thing about me, you had asked me about as a kid, this began a long time ago. I was always a truth seeker. I always wanted the truth. I always wanted the truth. Don't lie to me. My favorite question was why. And people used to tell me that. I remember my grandma saying, Lindsey always says why. And then she had another grandkid that is a year younger than me, always said what, but I always said why. And because I wanted to know, okay, well, but why? Why does that work that way? Why is this way? And I was always one that, even as a kid and even as a teenager, I saw through the system, and I would be like, what is the point of, everybody seems just like a robot. We go to work for 40 hours a week, and we all find a job, but does anybody really follow their dreams? I mean, does anybody really want to be radiologists? Does anybody dream about that? I don't know, maybe people do, but I feel like people just settle on something I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a dental hygienist or a radiologist or whatever. And they just, okay, I'm going to go do that because I need to make money. And we convince ourselves that that's totally normal to work 40 or more hours a week and make somebody else rich. And yeah, I always saw through that. I always saw through school. I always wondered why we had to learn all this stupid crap that they shoved down our throats and why we had to jump through all the hoops that we did. And I was always a nonconformist. I was always that way. And so people thought I was weird and crazy and whatever. And I am a little bit weird and I am a little bit crazy, mostly in a good way. But Same. Yeah, that's why you're my tribe, dude. Seriously. Absolutely. That's why we get along so well. But I always saw through it, and I always was and it's always been a huge passion of mine to awaken others to the truth. And I know, I was talking to another friend of ours recently, and something she said made a lot of sense. She's like, you can't make people see the truth. Only God can do that. And she's right, dude. She is right. All I can do is plant seeds.
That's true.
That's true. But I'm so passionate about it. I'm so passionate about people seeing what's right in front of them, seeing the forest through the trees. So, that's always been a big deal to me. And that, so that's why it's God made himself real to me. He knew that I was, your kitty.
She had to come. She's done.
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm a freak with cats.
I know. I'm sorry. I knew you'd want to see her, and she wanted to come see, so I didn't mean to jump in. You're getting you're getting into my next question, which is perfect. So please carry on, because my next question was going to be, awesome. Because my next question was going to be, what are you passionate about now? What are you passionate about? What gets you going? And you're on it. So carry on, please.